Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning!
Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep into Attack on Titan. And as season 4 of the anime is, a lot of you wanted an explanation on some background lore which was covered earlier on in the series. So we are going to try and break them down. This time around we'll be talking about the Ackerman and their bloodline within the Attack on Titan series, where we're going to discuss who they are, what they are, and explain why Levi and Mikasa are so strong. We'll also be giving our theory and answering the $1 million question: if Mikasa will be able to save Eren at the end of the series, and will she marry him? Yes, I know that bit is kind of a spoiler for you non-manga readers, so we're going to leave that till the end. But like our other recent Attack on Titan content, we have Sammy joining us once again in this video.
Yes! Yes!
And like always, I want to thank you, the Anime Balls Deep community, for your continuous support throughout the years, sharing your balls deep energy, giving us the power to continue using balls deep prediction. So as a way to thank you guys, we are planning to make an exclusive Attack on Titan merch which will go up on our ABD merch store. It will be an awesome addition to our already awesome collection. Oh, and if you guys don't have any of our ABD merch, then what are you doing, huh? Go get it so you can look sexy like these lot. But for now, let's go balls deep into the Ackerman clan. Okay, to first explain who the Ackerman clan or family are, let's go back to what we know of the different type of humans within the Attack on Titan series. Currently, we are given the fact that the humans are split into two groups. One set of beings who are the subjects of the first Titan shifter, Ymir Fritz. Her subjects are those who are descended from her, allowing her to have full control over every single one of their anatomy, turning them into Titans, even erasing their minds and changing their DNA makeup.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
These people are called Aldeans, and let's call every other humans non-Aldeans cause they ain't really important at this point. But these non-Aldeans are normal human beings. An example of them would be the native people of Male, the Asian clan, and any other humans from other nations. Pretty much the main difference between the Aldeans and the other humans is that every single Aldean has the potential of turning into a Titan once they are given some sort of trigger, for instance the command of the founding Titan, or being injected with the Titan spinal fluid, where these means gives a signal to Ymir, the true founding Titan, to form a Titan body for that specific Aldean in the realms of the past. If you guys want to know more about how that works, then make sure to check out our video explaining how Titans are made. But with all of that said, let's go into the Ackerman family. Like, who are they? What are they? Can they even turn into Titans? Are they considered Aldeans? Well, I'm here to answer all of your questions, starting with the facts that the Ackermans are Aldeans who lived in Aldea more than a century ago. And a quick reminder for you lot is that Aldea was a nation even before the Titans' power existed. But after Ymir gained the power of the Titans, the future bloodline of the Aldean people all led back to her. This could have been due to the mass breeding King Fritz assigned to his daughters after Ymir's death, where later the Aldeans who could become Titans outlived any Aldeans who couldn't. This might have also been influenced by the founding Titans' power. However, due to the power of the Titans, Aldea at that time was vast and had a lot of colonies under it. But after the collapse of the Aldean Empire during the Great Titan War, which only happened around 100 years ago from the start of the series, the members of the Ackerman moved within the walls in Paradise Island, along with most of the other Aldean people. But their roots and bloodline originated from the golden period of the Aldean Empire reign, before the Great Titan War. You see, the Empire was advanced in the understanding of Titan science, to the point where they would do experiments to either improve their knowledge or to test their limits. However, the Empire, like most world powerhouses, would also use these experiments to gain and secure their position in the world. And if you guys think about it, it's quite similar to how our own world works. We're the first world and developed countries race in producing the next best arms and technologies. But coming back to the Attack on Titan universe, in the case of Aldea, to act as the royal family's bodyguard and the king's right hand, the Ackerman bloodline was created. Yes guys, I said it, they were created. This was revealed by Zeke in chapter 93 and elaborated by Eren in chapter 112. The Elden Empire, in the experimental endeavors of the Titans, had come up with an accidental consequence resulting in the Ackerman's bloodline creation. But either way, the result was apparent and Aldea had created superhumans. We'll explain the powers and full scope of abilities in a bit.
Yeah.
This big brain time.
But you lot are probably wondering, like, how were they actually made? Was it some test tube baby experiment, some genetic engineering, or some Captain America thing? Like, what was it? Well, not much is known yet about how the actual experiment is done.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, I know I said I was gonna explain that, but hopefully the series will explore it more soon. But I'm pretty sure it was a mix between all the ideas I stated before. We also learned in chapter 133 that experiments done on the Titan shifters resulted in the female Titan adapting abilities of the other Titans. So in the future, Isayama might go over each and every experiment of the past, explaining little details of the other Titans and probably even going over the legacy Titans we see later on in the series. But in regards to who were the Ackermans before this experiment, well, it's speculated that the first Ackerman had some sort of Eldian royal blood in him. Others suggest that the first Ackerman was actually a farmer, as the rough translation of the name Ackerman is plowman, and the word Acker is a Germanic word for plowed field. But again, the first Eldians ever were probably farmers themselves, so the Ackerman could be both a royal descent and farmers. However, it is clear that they are not directly related to Ymir, as they don't hold her iconic blonde hair. And again, what I mean by directly, they weren't born from incest directly leading back to Ymir. But moving forwards, for a while the Ackermans were held in high regards, being a bloodline of warriors that protected Aldia's king. However, after Karl Fritz, the Eldian king at that time, decided to separate the Eldian people from the rest of the world, moving them into Paradise Island, and the controversy around the whole situation, ultimately these preceding events changed the outcome and status for the Ackerman family and their descendants. Like, although the Ackermans followed the rest of the Eldians into Paradise Island behind the walls, when King Karl used the founding Titan's power to erase the citizens' memories, only the Ackermans, Asians and some noble clans were immune to it. By the way, the Asian clans and possibly even some of the nobles that were immune to the control of the founding Titan was because they aren't actually the subject of Ymir. And if you guys want me to cover the Asian family, the nation of Hirazu, all the nobles in Aldea in more detail, then smash the like button and let me know in the comment section below. But either way, both of the Ackerman and the Asian clan rejected the king's idea of peace and decided to turn their backs on the monarchy. So out of fear of rebellion and to prevent the Ackermans and the Asian clans from snitching on the existence of the outside world, the king persecuted and brought both races to the brink of extinction. And I know guys, this sounds like some Uchiha history, but it's not. It's a sad reality in Attack on Titan. In the end, the head of the Ackerman clan wanted to assure his bloodline would continue, so he offered to be executed in exchange for their survival. From then on, they kept information they had about life before the walls a secret from the future generation in order to save them from being eradicated. Although this didn't stop them from being oppressed, some of them even took refuge in the underground cities, whilst others fled to the mountains. And since a lot of the times the businesses were sabotaged, they remained impoverished. The pursuit to eradicate the Ackerman's family finally ended when the new king at that time, Yuri Reis, whose name I completely butchered, met Kenny Ackerman during an assassination attempt. King Yuri Reis apologized for the prior monarch's actions against the Ackerman family and made Kenny his right-hand man, ending the persecution. Oh, and if you guys didn't know, Kenny Ackerman is Levi's maternal uncle and mentor.
Alright, Yusuf. I think they get the point.
What? I wasn't done though.
You're done now. Get out of my way. Alright, but seriously guys, hopefully you understood the history behind the Ackerman family and where they came from. Now let's get into their actual abilities and the question of what exactly is their power. Is it just superhuman strength? Quick agility? Well, let's get into that. Firstly, not every Ackerman has their superhuman powers. As mentioned earlier, it has to be triggered to be unlocked, and as described by Levi, when some members of the Ackerman clan have this awakened power, they gain the ability of knowing exactly what needs to be done, which can insinuate extremely god-level battle instincts. This also plays a part to their insane agility and movement. It's not that they are just quick due to muscle strength and endurance, it's also because their bodies will move in the exact direction it needs to execute that kill. There are so many cases of this when Levi mauled through his enemies, making it look like child's play. Just recently, the way he took out the Beast Titan showed that no ordinary human would be able to do what he did. This power also allows them to exhibit physical abilities far far above any average human, along with superhuman agility and heightened senses. The experiment which was done to create this possibility in a human utilized the genetics of Titans. Therefore, it is said that an Ackerman can manifest the power of the Titans without becoming one or inheriting any of the 9 Titans. Now, some of you might be doubting the fact that a human being in AOT can have the strength of a Titan. Well, here, let me give you some examples. When Mikasa awakens her powers, she crushes the handle of a knife, breaks the floorboard with her leap, and is able to thrust a knife through a man deep enough to kill him in one stab. Really? Yeah, all that at the age of 9? That's superhuman strength, even for a grown adult man. There are other moments where Mikasa displays her strength, which shouts out the fact that she ain't a normal human. Like, look at her dashing Eren around with one hand. Now, this is also shown with Levi and Kenny a lot of the times. It's also suggested that none of these guys have even tapped into their full power of their bloodlines as of yet. Now, apart from raw strength, reaction speed, agility, durability, and overall battle power, one more thing the Ackerman gains is battle experience. Now, this is actually the explanation to their battle instincts, but it's also a power in itself. When awakened, the Ackermans gain battle experience from every Ackerman before them via paths. Again, we already explained what paths are in another video, so make sure to check that out. But basically, it's the same way the Titan Shifters gain memories from the previous owner of the Titans. The Ackermans also gain battle experience and memories from the previous Ackermans. The best comparison is Assassin's Creed and the bleeding effect. This effectively made the Ackermans the most skilled warriors within the AOT universe. Think about it. The Marley warriors, like Rainer, Berthold, Annie, and Zeke, went through extensive training from a very young age. But when faced against Mikasa, all of them got slapped up, bro. And when Levi took down Zeke in his Beast Titan form and then chased him all the way back to Wall Maria, Zeke understood that Levi is actually more scarier than a Titan, which ultimately forced him to escape. Okay, so we established that the Ackerman bloodline gives this family the chance to become a super soldier. But let's really try to understand what it is that activates this power. To understand this, we have to once again try to realize the power of the founding Titan. As we said for the 100th time, the Ackerman were a product of Titan science. So more or less every ability is a derivative of the Titan to some sort of degree. As mentioned with the strength and even the bleeding effect, the founding Titan can activate the genes in all Eldian people to become a Titan with just a scream or shout. It seems this process is also similar to the activation of the Ackerman power. In order to activate the power, you need to find a host and obey orders from the host when facing death. This allows the instincts found in the Ackerman's blood to protect the host to activate. We also have to remember that they were ultimately engineered to protect the king. For example, at the age of 9, Mikasa was a regular girl until 3 robbers kidnapped her after killing her parents. She was pretty much useless and couldn't do anything for herself until Eren came to rescue her and told her to fight. This awakened Mikasa's dormant power and she was able to kill one of the criminals with a single stab to the heart. Levi also spoke about how he and Kenny had similar moments that awakened their powers. Later in the manga, Eren claims that an awakened Ackerman is compelled to obey their host, and if they try to resist, they will experience headaches. However, Armin Alert wonders if Eren was only using Mikasa's headaches to reinforce his claim, as this idea of submission doesn't look so promising. Like, we have to think about Levi's relationship with Eren, Kenny's relationship with Yuri, and the overall interaction between Mikasa and Eren. In an interview, the creator Hajime Isayama stated that Mikasa, Levi, and Kenny are all part of the same Ackerman bloodline. However, it is in their nature to protect their individual counterparts and does not particularly have anything to do with a bloodline, which again contradicts what we read in chapter 112, as it turns out that the bloodline is a major factor for their guardian-like nature. However, a lot of things seem to be progressive revelation when it comes to these things in AOT. For example, Kenny Ackerman's grandfather told him that they are a minority bloodline, insinuating that they are not related to the subjects of Ymir. This would make sense as they are unaffected by the founding Titan's power, unlike the subjects of Ymir. However, later according to Zeke, as mentioned, the Ackerman lineage is actually the result of the experimentation done on the subjects of Ymir. The Ackerman clan is linked via paths, and although it is limited, they have the ability to access the power of the Titans. This information itself seemed hidden from Kenny and his grandfather, so even though to say that the Ackermans were in a submissive role would be far-fetched, but it is possible that Eren isn't lying and Ackermans are bonded to loyalty. However, at the moment, these are just claims and potential potentially made for the plot, and do not really represent the Ackerman as a whole. We also have to remember that the Ackerman rebelled against King Carl and caused a huge problem for the monarch. If they were really submissive, this wouldn't even be possible. The last point I want to talk about is if an Ackerman can become a Titan shifter. As of yet, not much is known whether the Ackermans can turn into Titans. However, in an interview which was revealed in August 2018, the Q&A section of Basetsu Shonen magazine, Hajime Isayama answered a question which said, if a child were to be born between two people from the royal family and the Ackerman clan, which blood would take precedence? And he responded by saying, I think that both of their bloodlines would be reflected in the child's as usual. This can lead to the possibility that the child would have the Ackerman's awakened power and can become a Titan with royal blood, which would then allow them to activate the founding Titan and fully utilize the power of the Titans, just like the members of the Fritz and Reese royal family are capable of doing. So from the hypothetical scenario, we can assume that they can turn into a Titan and be a Titan shifter. But again, we can't be too sure, as the reasoning Isayama gave was pertaining to the fact that there was royal Eldian blood in the Ackerman child. But a final point to add is that later in chapter 133, Mikasa and Levi enter the realms of the paths by Eren's will and his founding Titan ability, meaning that the Ackermans are linked back to Ymir and can potentially turn into a Titan with her command. Okay, with that, I hope we answered all of your questions to the Ackerman family. If we missed anything, then put it down in the comment sections below so we can start a discussion on it. But now let's get into the big question of whether Mikasa will save and marry Eren at the end of the series.
Well, using my balls, the prediction Titan shifting ability, I can say no.
Alright, Yusuf, stop being such a ham now. It's my turn. But yes, you are right, Yusuf. Mikasa won't end up with Eren. Neither will she save him. According to our Requiem theory, Eren will actually die, possibly even replacing Ymir in the realm of the paths. Again, we will explain this ending in a separate video. But coming back to Mikasa, not only does she have Ackerman blood, she is also a descendant of the Shogun clan, which once led Hizuru, the powerful nation occupying a part of Asia. Hizuru is basically the Japan of the AOT world. But in the current era, the Shogun clan is now filtered down to an influential family known as the Azumabitos. In chapter 107, the Azumabitos send one of their members, Kiyomi, to visit Paradise with a diplomatic task from Hizuru where she confirms that Mikasa is the last descendant of a son of her nation's Shogun clan, from which the Azumabitos are also descended from. Our theory is that Mikasa will end up joining the Azumabito family, or at least migrate to Hizuru, ending up leading the Asian people, along with helping to build a bridge for Paradise Island and the rest of the world. There's a couple of foreshadowing to this notion from the revelation of Mikasa's heritage, along with later, in chapter 111, being requested by Kiyomi to come back to escape on the Azumabito ship in case something happens, and that Kiyomi will still assure that she will keep Mikasa safe. The doors for Mikasa to return to her mother's homeland are still open, and after the event of the rumbling and the loss of Eren, Mikasa will feel lost without the one person she loved and depended on in some way. To help the people of Paradise and to find herself, Mikasa heading to Hizuru makes a lot of sense. So there you have it. Our theory is quite straightforward. Mikasa will not marry Eren, because Mans will be dead. And after the liberation of Paradise, she will find home elsewhere. Well, who knows, maybe she might even end up with Jean. Alright, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and ding that notification bell to stay updated. Till then, I'll see you guys till next time.